3 hours of lights. But now the sun is going up quite early in the morning. Too much, yeah.
Hello and welcome to the ISL Podcast. Today with you have your typical host, Ivan Grigorishin.
Oh, thank you.
My guest today is Sarah Sjostrom from the Energy Standard. Sarah, thank you so much for making it to the podcast. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's an honor.
Sarah, and to start things off, how are you? How's the injury status right now? I know you had quite a severe injury with your arm. You broke your arm. I think you tripped on ice and landed in a weird way. Could you open up on that a little bit and sort of give us an update on how you're feeling right now?
Yeah, so I'm actually quite okay. It was a little bit more than, I think it's almost 3 weeks ago now when I slipped on the ice. I fell forward and jammed my elbow really hard on the ground. I was a little bit dizzy right after, so I thought something was wrong. I thought maybe I hit my head when I fell. But then after like half an hour, I realized it was just like adrenaline. So it was apparently, and then I touched my elbow a little bit, and I could feel something wasn't right. So I went straight to the emergency, and they did an X-ray and everything, and then the doctor told me the news, and it was obviously devastating to get the news from doctor. He came into the room and he was like, I'm sorry, I have really bad news. You have a fracture in your elbow, and you need surgery as soon as possible. So that was like, oh my God, really devastating. Like I never thought you could get a fracture just by walking and falling on the ground. Maybe if I was skiing or if I was on my bike and fell on the ground, maybe something would happen, but I didn't think it would happen just by walking. But I was just very, very unlucky. So now I've done the surgery. I did the surgery a little bit more than 2 weeks ago now, and rehab is going well. I'm improving every day. My flexibility in my elbow, the flexion and extension is improving. So I mean, everything is going in the right direction. So I just need to stay calm and not stress about it, and just be happy by the small I can do today.
Of course, and we spoke about a bunch of athletes who took a break prior to the ISL, sometimes even a couple of months prior to the ISL, a prolonged break from swimming, 1-2 months. And a lot of them voiced the opinion that this was actually beneficial to their swimming. They took a mental break, a physical recovery. Obviously, with an injury, it's not the same. You went for a surgery, you're going for rehab. It's not quite mental and physical recovery, as to say. But do you think this in any way would benefit you? Maybe at least mentally, maybe make you more resilient and stronger in a way?
Yeah, I definitely think this is something that will make me stronger in the future. I don't know when. It's obviously the process in training and everything gets more interesting now somehow. So it gives me a lot of motivation, because like everything has been going so well for 13 years. I never ever had a serious injury in my swimming. I've been so lucky with that. I never had like shoulder problems or anything like many swimmers have. So, and I thought maybe if I got an injury, it would be because I'm training a lot, but um, I never thought I would get an injury like this. So it's yeah, it is what it is. So I just have to do what I can to get better again, and then actually next week I will be back in the pool again, but I'm not allowed to use my tricep or bicep for another 10 weeks. So it will be a lot of kicking for the next 10 weeks, and I'm not really enjoying kicking too much, but I'm just gonna have to learn how to do it. So that's also a good thing. I get to work with something that is maybe a weak spot for me. It's gonna be a lot of leg workouts the next 10 weeks. So, and I have no other choice because I can't use my arm now. So maybe that will make me stronger too, because I'm forced to work on something that is a challenge for me, my legs.
That would be great preparation for the upcoming 2021 ISL, right? Short course, a lot of kicking. These underwaters would get better. You'd be even more
Definitely.
dangerous in the ISL season.
Yeah, no, my goal now is to be better in kick sets than I ever been, because that's all I'm gonna do now. So I'm just gonna work really hard on my legs, and then we'll see how quick I can recover from this injury. And yeah, I'm sure it will. Like now, I'm doing a lot of rehab, and I have time to work on a lot of other things that I don't have time to work on, because I'm doing so much swimming all the time. Like the other like small issues, not really like injuries, but I can work on my flexibility in my upper back or ankle, and yeah, just work on other things I usually just ignore for too long. But now that's all I can work on, because my arms are just useless at the moment.
What about any hobbies? Did you pick up any hobbies during this time, or maybe something
Yeah, actually, yes, I did. I started being on the stock market a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot. So I'm like reading about the companies and where I should uh what company, like what should I buy, and yeah, when should I sell, and
Oh wow, that's
so
very
that's a
interesting.
new, yeah, so that's a new hobby.
What about some cryptocurrency play? Do you do that, or just stock market?
Of course. All of it.
Sorry, you're in the trend.
Yeah,
This was an unexpected hobby to hear from you, but wow,
it's a very,
kudos to
I never
you.
thought I would. I'm still learning. I'm a beginner, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm learning something new every day, and smart strategies, and how to analyze companies and stuff like that. So I think it's good. It's a good hobby to have, also for the future when I have some other job. Like I learn a lot about the different businesses and stuff. So I think it's good. It's good for
Yeah,
me
that's,
to to do something and use my brain a little bit differently.
don't get me wrong. That sounds like an amazing hobby. A, you get the ability to earn money for this hobby, and B, you get distracted from swimming
Sometimes,
a little
yeah.
bit, right?
Yeah, I'm earning
Sometimes.
money sometimes, but yeah, it's I think it's very similar to like for athletes. Sometimes you are very successful, like everything is going well, and sometimes you know it's more challenging. And yeah, it's the same on the stock market. Sometimes everything is going so well, and then so it's very similar to my swimming career for sure.
Understandable. And hey, you started your swimming career very early, much like the stock market career. Maybe there will
Yeah,
be a connection
yeah,
in the success.
hopefully next year I will learn more. I'm not really the level where I can give people advice or anything about this yet. I'm super basic level, but I mean, it's just a hobby so far, but hopefully in the future I will be a pro at this. That would be awesome.
all listeners, in a year, if you need any advice on stock market, you know the exact person to contact.
Yeah, please just give me all the advice you have.
Sarah, just coming back to the injury for one more question. Did this injury change your goals coming into the Olympic Games of Tokyo 2021 in terms of maybe the events you're going to focus on? Maybe you're going to focus more on the sprint side a little bit more. And if this is something you wouldn't want to reveal right now, this is absolutely fine also.
So I didn't really set up too many goals for the summer yet, like what I want to achieve. It's impossible. I'm a realist, so I don't like to say, of course you can dream about winning gold medals in the Olympics, or like doing world records in next season. But at the moment, I'm just happy with any small progress I can get in my training. Like I just learned I can just touch my head again. That's a big step for me. Then I can, I'm still trying to learn to use my arm again. So that's just the first step. And then I don't know, whenever like everything's working well again with my arm, hopefully in 10 weeks I can start to challenge my elbow a little bit more with like more heavy training, and then it will be easier to set up goals when the injury is 100% gone. And I honestly hope, I'm sure I will be able to compete in the summer, and probably gonna do quite well, but it's hard to reach the top level of training before the Olympics starts, when I'm about so yeah, just gonna take it easy. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, do you by any chance have your finger on the microphone? There's a little bit. The sound is not absolutely perfect. Let's try now.
Is it better now?
Oh, that is perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Sarah, diving into the season itself, first of all, how would you access the performance of energy standard in ISL season 2020? From one point of view, you guys didn't end up winning the entire season, like ISL season 2019, but you guys made it to the final. You were the second best team there. And with the COVID environment, I think you guys did great. Would you agree with me, or what do you think of the performance of energy standard?
I think we did everything we could. It was sorry, someone is calling me like 10 times in a row here. I'm like blocking. I'm like, no, I don't have time. No, it was definitely a challenge to go away and live in a bubble like we did for 6 weeks. We never done anything like that before, so it was a challenge to like adapt to that kind of ISL bubble. But we had so much fun on the way, and we felt like everyone was improving, and that was the most important. And everyone was just excited to start racing again after a very, very long break. So we were enjoying it all the way, and we wanted to win, of course, but I think we were also the team that everyone wanted to beat. So it was a challenge for us because everyone was chasing us all the time, and it's it's easier to chase than be chased. You understand? It's and and also I think Cali Condors, they were amazing. With Caleb Dressel being in the shape of his life, he really helped the team to get a lot of points. He was outstanding in a lot of events, so it was a challenge for us to reach them with the points in the end, but we were fighting all the way, so that's the most important.
For sure. And yeah, Caleb was absolutely amazing. And seeing his performances in the first match, I would never imagine he would drop so much time once final rolls around. It was a spectacle to see. But Sarah, you touched base a little bit upon Cali Condors being a very strong team and probably the team to beat heading into next season. Is there a team, in your perspective, for Energy Standard that is sort of the main competitors for you, the team you want to beat the most in a sense? Because, for example, for Cali Condors, it's LA Current, and the same goes for LA Current against Cali Condors. Or there's a bit of between Aqua Centurions and DC Tridents. They view themselves as big competitors. Is there a team like that for Energy Standard? Cali Condors, would you say?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but now we wanted to beat the teams that takes the most amount of points. We were fighting to beat them, but they were outstanding on season 2 of the ISL. So, but we tried our best all the way, and yeah, it was fun. We had so much fun. So, what else can we do?
That makes total sense. Seeing you guys react to each of your performances, it seemed like, to me, and a lot of swimmers disagreed with me when I said this, but to me it looked like for the swimmers, the ISL was kind of like a big party instead of a swim meet.
Definitely. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fun. Like, I mean, of course, it was a bubble with really tough restrictions, but I felt like the longer we got into it, it was like, it was quite it was a social thing too. It was so nice to finally be able to socialize with people, because I wasn't doing that a lot for the last year because of COVID. And I think it was the same for a lot of people. Like, the restrictions were very tough, but we actually got the chance to hang out with people again in the bubble, because it was safe, because we did the COVID tests I think it was every 4 or 5 days. And so it felt like a very safe environment to actually spend time with people, with social distancing, of course.
This is probably one of the reasons it made the 6 weeks seem a lot shorter and easier than they initially seemed before the start of the season, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was. I when I saw the restrictions before I traveled to Budapest, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so tough. But then when I was there, I got used to it, and I think everyone else also got used to it, and it was almost harder to go back home again after being in the bubble, because I was so used to that kind of lifestyle. And then when I came home, everything was like stressful again, and I was busy with, grocery shopping and stuff like that.
We even
so
created a special word for this on the podcast, the bubble blues. You're not the only one who experienced this. Yes.
Yeah. When I came home, it was a challenge. Like, I didn't have to do too many things in the day to get tired. I was like, oh, I've done one mission today. Now I'm just gonna be in my bed lazy. And because I was like, coming from the bubble, just everything served on a silver plate for like 6 weeks. Living a luxury life in a hotel for 6 weeks. It was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Sarah.
With all my friends around also.
Yeah, and you had a couple of friends on other teams also, right? A couple of Swedish teammates.
Yeah, we were. So there were 3 other Swedish swimmers, and they were all in the Canadian team. So they were. It was fun to race. Even if they are my teammates here in Sweden, I'm training with Michelle Coleman, who was in the Canadian team, but there we were like competitors. So it was interesting and a lot of fun.
By the way, Sarah, talking about competitors, do you view a certain person in the ISL setting as sort of your biggest competition? Because you had some amazing rivalries with Ranomi Kramavijoyo and their skins, with Beryl in the final. You guys swam quite a couple of events together. Is there one person you would sort of separate from the rest and call you your biggest rival this season?
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of rivals. It was very tough this year. I had a very busy schedule. I felt amazing the first competitions. I did the 5 races back to back in like 1.5 hours or something like that, and I was like never felt that strong in my life. And then I got a small back injury. It was actually quite bad, if I remember right. I couldn't walk for like 2 days. But we had a 2 week break between our first and our second match. But my back didn't heal properly before the second match, and then I was allowed to race again on the third match. But I felt like I lost a lot of power and maybe a little bit of confidence also on the third match because because I didn't trust my back. But yeah, it was, and also because of that I had a lot of competitors. It was hard for me to compete again after that small back injury. And yeah, I was like trying to do everything to beat the other girls in LA Current and the Iron team, and like every team had, because I'm doing so many events. Also, I had competitors in all my events, like 4, 5, 6 events.
And Sarah, could you speak a little bit more about that injury you received, how you received it, and how serious was this back injury? What actually happened? Was it a muscle tweak? Was it a irritation or something?
Yeah, no, it was just small. It was like a muscle tweeze, and then I was just putting my pants on in the morning. Actually, I didn't even do. It was nothing from training. I just casually putting my pants on like you do in the morning, and then I felt like a muscle spasm in my back, and it didn't really disappear. So I had problem to do. I had problem to kick for a week. I could barely swim for the first 3 days. So yeah, and that's a part of being an athlete. Sometimes I was very unlucky that it happened already on week 2 of 6. Um, but I felt like I had another purpose anyway, even if I wasn't racing that second match, because I was there like a team captain, and we had some really strong girls in our team, so it didn't really matter if I if I wasn't swimming. We could uh, put the other girls in, and I was like cheering on them on the stand. So it was fun to watch the ISL from the stands. It was the first time ever I've done that, because I'm always so busy racing a lot of events. So it was fun to just watch also for once. But obviously I was looking forward to racing again after being on the stands for a day. But I think it was good for me to just watch also.
Sarah, it almost seems like we should keep you only in the water. Outside of the water, you're receiving injuries, but in the water, it seems like you're most safe, right?
Yeah, I'm been very unlucky the outside of the water the last couple of weeks. So I should just stay in the water from now on.
The safest environment to be. Why not? Um, Sarah, you spoke a little bit of the
Yeah.
amazing teammates you have on Energy Standard. In my opinion, of course, the Energy Standard team is outstanding. But there was one person who was kind of a surprise of the season and was had their outbreak season this ISL season. The person I'm talking about is Maddie Banitch, a person who covered you in a couple of the fly events,
Oh yeah, she was
especially when you were.
amazing. Yeah.
Do you want to speak a little bit about her? Did you actually expect how good she was going to be when you guys recruited her? And she kind of showed up out of nowhere, right? You guys recruited her based on an Instagram video.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about her before. I know she was doing great in some short course yards, and yeah, and our coaches they asked her if she wanted to compete with us, and then I was like, yeah, that's great. So I don't have to race 10 events all the time. Like I could, because it was kind of a challenge to, when you look at the program, and you can't race 10 events every time. So it was great that she actually got the chance to race an individual event and show that she was the best, you know. She it was amazing to see, and she was such a funny and personality. It was so great to have her in the team. She gave so much energy to everyone, and I was really enjoying to get to know her.
Yeah, she even gave you a run for your money in that final 50 fly you guys did in the final. That you guys had a battle between you and
I've
Maddie.
seen and I was so impressed with her underwater. Oh my god, that was a challenge. And I told her many times during the ISL that I was really enjoying racing next to her. We kind of helped each other somehow. I don't know how, but it um like she made it easier for me to put to push myself even harder when I was swimming next to her, because she could help me underwater, because my underwater is not it's okay, but it's definitely not I'm not world class there barely, but I'm trying. But when I was swimming with Maddie in the events, I was actually watching her on the water, and I was trying to keep the same frequency as her, and I felt like my underwater kicks got better when I was swimming next to her. I could see what she was doing. I was like, okay, that's how I'm gonna.
I was actually
I was just trying to copy her kicks.
Mhm. This was actually going to be my next question. Is there, for example, Maddie Banitch, as you already outlined, she has amazing underwaters. There's a bunch of other ISL athletes that have this specific feature to them that makes them perfect. For example, Anna Hopkin from the London Lure has an outstanding start from my opinion. One of the best female starters I've ever seen. Did you what are the main things you picked up from this ISL season as a swimmer? Maybe some technique things you picked up, maybe race preparation, maybe dieting. What are the biggest things you picked up from this ISL?
I think one of the things I picked up is that so many swimmers they look so strong, and and also all the details like underwater swim, kicking and starts. Everyone is so impressive there, and I feel like I need to work even harder to improve those details to keep improving. I felt like I got inspired to find new ways to get even faster in the pool, because I feel like I've been racing really quick. I have a couple of world records, but I still feel like after the ISL, I still feel like I have so much to improve, because when I watch these girls when they start and do underwater and turns, I'm like, oh my god, if I swim underwater like that and do these turns, I can improve the world records even more, maybe.
You might become the Caleb Dressel in ISL for the female side. If you nail down these turns, these starts, you'll become quite unstoppable.
That's my goal for next year. Maybe if whenever my elbow is fine, I'm probably gonna put up a goal like that. That's for sure. Like I said, I'm gonna do a lot of kicking now the next couple of weeks, so maybe that will help me to be even better short course.
Oh wow, I'm already stoked to see you next season. This is going to be a good one. Thank you, Sarah. One more question regarding the ISL itself. Let's have a look at your lineup, for example, in the final. In the first day, you did 100 fly, 100 free in a relay, 50 freestyle, 100 free in a relay. That's 5 pretty dense events and not a lot of time. Yet, you didn't have a single off performance. And even day 2, 100 IM, 50 fly, 100 free. You were very stable across all of these events. How do you achieve it? How do you have such a recovery? How do you manage to perform at your best pretty much 20 minutes after you already swam all out?
I don't know. I guess I get used to it. I've never been scared to do many events. Or actually, it was when I think I saw Katinka Hosse at a competition back in the days. I saw she was racing, I don't know, 200 fly, 400 IM, 200 back, etc. I was like, oh my god, maybe I should try starting, not be scared to race too much. So I started doing more races during competitions in the season. So even 50 back and 100 back was in my program, and 400 meter freestyle, and obviously 50, 100 fly, and sometimes even 200 fly. Not very often, but I was keeping myself busy on many competitions, and I think that's the best kind of training to be able to race multiple events. You just have to race a lot of events, and then you improve your recovery when you do stuff like that. So I think it's a challenge to do that many events in a very short time, like in the ISL. But I mean, you try to find the best way to recover, and sometimes it doesn't really work. I wasn't recovering 100% between every race. Sometimes I was dead. I was barely going up on the block, but I felt like I needed to do it for my team. So that gave me a lot of energy and motivation to try to ignore the pain I feel when I walk up on the blocks with all the lactic acid I had from the race before. But yeah, I like a good challenge, so I just had to do it.
Sarah, you mentioned that you said your weakest point in your swimming, you would say, is your kick. In my imperfect logic, that means that you're predominantly a puller when you swim, right? You swim more using your arms. Do you think this sort of benefits you in terms of recovery, especially in short course meters format? Because I mean, from these underwaters, these people who specialize on the kick, the legs are getting overused quite a bit. You have to nail the underwaters, you have to nail the turns, plus you're using the legs so much when you swim. Do you think that the fact that you're predominantly a puller helped you in the recovery to swim more events in one day?
I think it's actually very good, like in short course, to have a very good kick. Because I feel like when I'm racing short course, my legs are exhausted, but I could swim another lap with just my arms, So I don't know. It's a mix there. But I think you need very strong legs in short course because you're doing a lot of push-offs and you're doing a lot of underwater kicks. So if you have strong kick, you will probably recover your legs much better also. But I'm lazy with that sometimes in training. Like I just need to start doing more kick, which I have no other choice.
Are you a little bit more of a social kicker, typically?
Yeah. Exactly.
Quite understandable. Sarah, what about your 100 individual medley? In the final, you probably didn't get the result you were hoping for in the 100 IM, 58.5. But in your opinion, is there a lot more in the 100 IM we can expect from you? Because look, your butterfly, your freestyle is undoubtedly amazing. Your backstroke, you said your underwaters are not so good, but in my opinion, your underwaters are still up there with the best underwaters in the ISL. So I believe you can pull off the backstroke leg. It's really the question of breaststroke. Can we expect you to improve your performance drastically in this 100 IM? And are you going to work on it at all?
I remember I did 57.7 on the first match. And then I think maybe the small back problem I had was not really helping my 100 IM. That was a challenge, like to swim breaststroke and to move my legs like that with the back problem I had. So yeah, I felt like the IM worked so well the first match, but then just got worse and worse the more time I raced 100 IM. I didn't get better at that event at all. So yeah, I mean, I've done a really good 100 IM. I think my best time is 57.1 or something. So I have it in me, but not during the final, unfortunately. But I tried my best. I didn't work out this time.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, one more question. In your match between you guys and Team Iron, there was a big showdown at the end of the skins with you and Radoni. And once you made it to that third round and you had the rest, Ranoni did her typical thing. She was warming down, chatting to the coaches, but not you, Sarah. You decided to warm down fly. And I kind of wanted to ask, was this a little bit of a flex, or is this something you normally do?
I don't even remember I warmed down fly, to be honest. I remember Shadowclaw told me afterwards he got so nervous when I started swimming fly, but I think it's a good way to flush out the lactate after a race, to swim fly, or to use your to do like some kick, a really short kick sprint. That's a great way to like flush out a little bit of lactate. So I feel like it's a waste of time when you only have like 2.5 minutes to like swim slowly. I feel like I'm just producing more lactate when I do that. So if I do a small flush, like just 5-meter sprint with my leg, or something like that, it's actually helping. I recommend more swimmers to try to do that during warm down, not just swim easy for 1,000 meters. Like do a few flushes, or if you only have 2 minutes, like during skins or something like that, I would rather do no warm down at all than swimming easy up and down.
It makes sense when I listen to it, but my swimming past is not so distant from me. It's very hard for me to imagine this would benefit me. I typically would feel absolutely crushed, and I can almost picture someone like Andrei Govorov trying out the strategy after making it after the first round, and that would hurt him quite a bit. But hey, it works out for some, right?
Yeah, I think you have to try also to find your way. I know a lot of swimmers, they prefer to do their slow warm down before, like between the skins races, but for me that's not working. Like I'd rather just go up on behind the blocks and just catch my breath again, or I just calm down and get my heart rate down, because it's not really enough time to flush out the lactate anyway. You just need to get your breathing back, and then you're ready to go again, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Sarah, talking about trying out new stuff, I know that Energy Standard is a team that spends a lot of time in the gym, working on strength and conditioning, working on flexibility, working on coordination. However, speaking with the Tokyo Frog Kings, I discovered a mind-blowing fact, let's put it this way. Close to half of the Japanese are yet to lift any weights in their life. All of the strength and conditioning development they do happens in the water. Do you think that in the modern swimming, it is necessarily to do strength and conditioning, lift weights, and do stuff on dry land, or is it possible to achieve everything just from working out in the water?
I think whatever you believe in is working. I know, for example, Shadowclaw didn't do too much gym, but he's been winning the Olympics anyway. And there's so many ways that's working. I think the most important is to stay injury free, and then whatever works the best for you is like I've been trying to do more heavy lifting, and sometimes I feel like my legs get too heavy and I get too much lactate in the end of the race. But then the next time I'm doing heavy lifting, it's working. So it all depends what you do and what you believe in, and what kind of event you're racing. It was quite funny, like during the ISL, because I know a lot of swimmers in Energy Standard were in the gym in the first 2 weeks, just like trying to stay fit, because it was 6 weeks long. We had to try to keep a normal training schedule the first 2 weeks to prepare for the final also. And when I saw all the swimmers in the gym, everyone had such different programs. It could be swimmers that race the same events, but they have very, very different programs depending where you're from in the world. And but everything is is working for them. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see all the differences.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I remember. I was once in the ISL bubble in the gym myself before a match with Aqua Centurions that was supposed to take place that evening. And as I make my way to the gym, I see Etienne Medeiros doing a heavy deadlift / clean workout before her match for the Aqua Centurions, and I thought, wow, this is a very interesting approach. But hey, different gym workouts work differently for everyone.
Yeah,
right?
whatever works.
Some people need that fire up. Some people just need to chill. It is very individualistic. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
Sarah,
very individual. Yeah.
You became a swimming world star at a very young age. 15 years was your first world record, right? Um, what happens a lot of the times in the world of swimming, especially with girls that become fast at a very young age, they tend to not carry that success throughout their career. That doesn't always happen, but that happens a lot. Not to throw any stones at anyone's gardens, but swimmers like Ruta Melutiti, Missy Franklin, Penny Olesiak, they had amazing outbreaks when they were very young. And then after that, their career seemed to stagger a little bit. How did you manage to avoid this?
I mean, I didn't avoid it 100%. I still had my challenges. I mean, I won the European champs when I was 14 years old, which is crazy. And then
Insanity.
I was like, oh, maybe this is a one-time thing. Yeah, this is a one-time thing. That was even on my mind. And the same when I won world champs the year after. I was like, oh, man, this is probably just a one-time thing, because everyone is saying that when you perform this well when you're young, you're probably not gonna do it again. So that became my motivation. I was like, I'm gonna prove to everyone that this is not a one-time thing. This is, it's gonna happen at least 10 times. And it did. So I'm very proud that I proved to myself that it wasn't like a one-time thing to win the world champs or European championship. But it is a challenge, and for me, like, I have some obstacles. After I won the world champs, I didn't have the same confidence like when these super suits were banned between 2009 and 2010, because I won my medals with the long leg suits. I didn't know how I would improve and how that would change my performance. So that was like, I didn't know like what I could expect from myself. So it was a really tough season coming into European Champs 2010. I didn't really trust the work I was doing, and I was just like lost somewhere. But yeah, I ended up winning the European Champs again. And then, like, even if I had like quite a tough training season before that, I came into the final of the European Champs, actually in Budapest, and I was like behind the blocks, and when I won again, I was like, I knew it. This wasn't a one-time thing. And then yeah, it was really amazing. But it took me, for example, I didn't win a medal in the Olympics in 2008. I didn't win the medal 2012. I only won my first medals 2016. So it was a long way to get there still. So maybe some people were still thinking like, oh, she has world or European medal, but she's never gonna reach the very top because she was so young when she won or whatever. But I wanted to prove everyone and myself that I could do it again, and I belonged in the world top.
Sarah, kudos to you. I mean, the ban of suits changed the career of many swimmers. Just have a look at Paul Biederman. He was never able to fully adapt to getting rid of the suits. Kudos to you that you were able to do it.
Yeah.
And sort of speaking about this a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big difference. It was a big difference time-wise. Like, if you looked at my times, 2009, I did 56 0, and then the European champs I did 57.3. So obviously it's a big, but it was enough still to win a medal, which was the most important thing for me at that time. So I think the suits helped me a lot. It took me 6 years before I could break that time from 2000, the 100-meter butterfly. It was not until the summer 2015 I actually improved my time again, but it was still, during those years, it was still enough to be world class. So it was I think my worst result in the 100 butterfly in the big international competitions was 4th place. So it's a very high level still, even if I didn't win medal every time. I mean, a 4th place in a final is still a very, very high class for many years.
And what was your motivation in swimming at that stage? I mean, you achieved, okay, you didn't achieve the pinnacle of the sport, you didn't win the Olympic Games at the time, but hey, you achieved many other amazing results. And at such a young age, what motivated you to keep going? Was it purely the thought you spoke about, just to prove that this wasn't an accident in a way, or was there something more?
Yeah, I think I had some small motivations all the time. Like I said, after 2008, I wanted to win the Europeans again, and then 2009, I wanted to win another gold medal. So I just wanted to do it again, and especially after the suits were banned, I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't a world champion or European champion just because of the super suits. I wanted to win with the new suits, that the textile suits, and it took a while before I did that. I actually came 4th 3 times in world champs in Shanghai 2011. Like I missed the medal 3 times in a row, like in 200 free, 100 fly, and in 50 fly, I think. So that became a motivation for me. I was like, oh god damn it, I'm gonna prove to myself that I can actually win a medal next world champs, which was 2 years later. So I just worked hard for that, and then I was able to go up on the blocks on the podium again 2 years later. So you just need to find motivation somewhere. And my biggest motivation has always been to try to improve my own times. I've been looking at my personal best times, and that's been important to me, to compare myself with my own best times. And it's been like that since I started swimming, actually. It's an important thing. But now I know it's not about times every time, you know. It's for example, when I won the European champs 2010, after the suits were banned, I didn't really care if I was swimming almost 1.5 seconds over my personal best. It doesn't matter when you're actually in the when you're in the final, and if you win the race, you don't really care about the time. It doesn't matter. But I mean, to find motivation, it's always easy to like try to improve yourself first of all, and then hope that will be enough to win a medal, hopefully.
Thank you, Sarah. And talking about your grand motivation for swimming, sort of on an upper level from that, not sort of the small goals that lead you to the big goal, but your just overall intrinsic motivation to keep swimming. Are you a person that loves the activity of swimming? Are you a person that loves competing? Are you a person that loves the lifestyle of a swimmer? Or maybe it's everything for you, like a true rock and roller, as to say, he wants everything.
So at the moment, I'm really enjoying the lifestyle as an athlete. I'm starting to like understand it's a luxury to be a elite athlete. It's nice to have a job that I'm really good at. But when I was younger, I didn't really enjoy the training a lot. But I started to enjoy the training and the work that I'm doing, but I think it's because I'm more involved and in the process, which makes it more interesting and more fun. When I was young, I just did whatever the coach wrote on the board, or on the paper. The session, I didn't really ask him why or how or anything. I just did whatever. But now I'm like involved in the process, and that makes the training more interesting also. So
James is an amazing
that's
coach
very
for that,
important
right?
to try to, yeah, of course. But I think also the older you get, the more involved you need to be in the process, because I believe like when you already won a lot of medals and you have world records and stuff, I think you know the best what works. Your coach can guide you, of course, but I think you know your body, and you need to trust what works for you and what you believe in, because that's the thing that's gonna make you even stronger. But the coach is the guide to next success, of course.
Makes sense. And it also makes total sense that, I mean, for me, it was the same way. Once I stopped swimming, I found a lot of motivation for working out based on the fact that now I was in charge of my workouts, not some coach. It's an amazing feeling after being led for so many years. Is it much of the same for you, sort of the ability to tweak your workouts to be part of being the architecture of your own performance is sort of making that struggle more interesting for you?
Yeah, it makes it much more interesting, and I really enjoy the training and all the work more when I'm involved. Um, and yeah, I used to follow all the improvements I'm doing and talk with the coach about how we can improve small details, and that's really important to find motivation.
Sarah. Sarah, I also wanted to talk to you about your diet. Um, I know that you've become a vegetarian for a part of your life, and now I believe you're only eating fish, shellfish. Are you eating bird right now?
So I started eating vegetarian food. Uh, I don't know, I lose track of time, but maybe 2 years ago, 1.5 or something like that. And but I started eating fish and shellfish also again. But I still avoid meat and chicken because yeah, I feel like I don't need that. I get enough protein in my diet anyway. Um, and I'm really good at like I know how much energy I need. Like I got really good help from a dietist. Like I'm not just guessing what I need to eat. Like I know a lot myself, but I get really good help and advice from a dietist. So I think that's really important to, before you change anything in your diet, to have someone you get good advice from, someone you trust, and someone that is actually educated about it. So um, that's why I started eating vegetarian and more shellfish, and we decided together what kind of diet will work better for me so I can maybe improve even more in my sport, and also better recovery and stuff like that.
Really? So it wasn't more from a moral standpoint of view you became vegetarian, but you actually thought this would benefit your performance, or was it both?
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like um, there was something that I like. My body didn't feel great. It took a lot of energy for me to process meat, and I had a lot of problem with my tummy, and like I didn't feel 100%. And it's hard to say what the problem was, but I just felt like maybe I should just change something in my diet, and then I went over to more yeah, the vegetarian food, and I started feeling a little bit lighter somehow. I and I felt like I had more energy during the day. My skin got so much better, and like the quality in my hair and nails and all of these. Like there were so many details. I was like, gosh, like I feel like a big difference. But I think like now I I really enjoy eating the fish and shellfish again. It's I feel like I really need that in my diet.
Why did you decide
It's
to
helping a lot.
reintroduce fish and shellfish?
It's just easier, and I mean, it tastes good with some nice wine.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. I can't
I really like fine dining. Yeah, like really good fine dining food is also one of my interests. I mentioned earlier that the stock market is one of my hobbies, but also I really enjoy going out to really good restaurants, and then it's hard to say no to some good shellfish and fish when you go to a restaurant. That is really, really good.
Do you cook a lot, or is it more your significant other responsibility?
Oh, actually, yeah, it's actually my boyfriend Johan who spend more time in the kitchen. When it's my turn to cook food, I'm like, shall we go to this restaurant again? It's just around the corner. So, yeah.
Can't blame after 2 workouts having to cook and then you have to wash all the dishes. It's a little bit too much of a hustle. Easier just to hit a cafe
and
or something.
I don't enjoy cooking when I'm hungry, and usually you cook when you want to eat food. So I'm like, let's just go somewhere where the food is already finished.
Makes sense. Sarah, I know that you're a busy athlete and you have your time to recover right now, and I don't want to take away from it. But before we part ways after this podcast, I have a little blitz prepared for you with the fans' questions. Are you good to go with the blitz?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Of course.
So here we go. Do you have a pet?
My family has a Great Dane. We used to have 2, but at the moment we only have 1.
Okay, thank you. How many kilometers on average do you train per practice?
I would say 5 is an average.
And how many times a week do you swim, and how many times a week do you do gym on average when you're healthy?
Average 8 swims per week, and 3 gym and 1 Pilates session.
Nice, Pilates. Yeah, Pilates is golden for swimming, in my opinion. The range of motion you gain from it, and the stability muscles that get to work out. It's truly something you can't really replicate, right?
It's perfect, especially with the people who has small, like gets back problems sometimes, or any kind of like tiny injury. Pilates it's been working very well for me, and it's worth to try if you have pain somewhere in your body and you want to do something about it. Try some Garuda or Pilates or something like that.
Thank you. Sarah, what is your personal preference? Long course meters, short course meters, or maybe yards?
Definitely not yards. It's too close between the walls for me. And I mean, short course, I do have 2 world records in short course. So obviously I'm quite good at it, but I think, yeah, I would say long course for training and races.
Fair enough. Sarah, what is your favorite event to swim?
That's different all the time. Sometimes I say 50 fly, sometimes 50 free and 100 free, but actually never. At the moment, I would say 50 freestyle is my favorite.
So it's typically the 50s for you, right?
I can't swim anything, but 50s is my favorite.
Okay. What about spectating? What is your favorite event to spectate?
My favorite event to what?
Yeah, to watch, just to be a spectator.
To watch?
Yeah.
You mean? Oh, that's a good question. Maybe I actually enjoy watching the 200 free women, like in the big international competitions. I know I've been racing them, like the finals sometimes myself, but I do enjoy watch it.
It makes total sense. Yeah.
Or the 200 free men and 200 free women it's amazing to watch.
That one of the most logical answers I've received, trust me. I've had sprinters tell me their favorite event to spectate is the mile. I had butterflyers say their favorite event to spectate is the 200 breaststroke. Thank you for some logic in this.
Everyone say different. Yeah, 200 free it's just a long sprint. Anything can happen, and it's interesting to see who will survive that last 50 the best.
And you for sure know during that last 50, everyone is absolutely dead and just thinking, when is this going to end, right?
Everyone is dead. Everyone is dead, definitely. But they have to, everyone, it's nice to see the fighting spirit on that last 50.
Yeah. Unlike maybe the 2 fly, when everyone is so dead to the extent that there's no final sprints going on, who dies the less, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sarah, what was your most memorable swim?
Actually, it's my world record in the 50-meter butterfly, because it was during Swedish nationals, and it was very special to do it with home crowd. And it was just such a shock to break. Like I felt like maybe I could break the world record, but I didn't think I would crush it. So that was a surprise. And then everyone was in shock, and everyone was like walking around measuring the pool, like something wrong with the pool. It's too short, but it was too long actually. But that was a big race. But I also have to mention my 100 free world record on the first leg of the relay in Budapest 2017. That was a very memorable race, because I remember my adrenaline before the race has never been that high in my life, because just before the female relay, the men relay was like the 4x1 freestyle men relay, and the Hungarian guys, they came third, and the crowd was going nuts. Like it was the whole stadium was like exploding.
I remember that. I was spectating that. You're absolutely right.
And we were under the stands, like in call room, watching to walk out for our race. And I was the first leg, so I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So I was so excited to go out and race myself. So I wasn't scared to get tired. I just went all out on the first 50 and hope for the best. And it turned out really well. So
sometimes works out perfectly.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes not very well. I tried both.
You know, Sarah, your 50 butterfly world record is my most memorable swim also for you, and probably in top 3 of my most memorable swims in general, because just one day before you did this, I had a huge celebration, because for the first time in my life, I bet a world record for female events, at least somewhere. It was the 50 fly for me. I had a meet and we had this huge celebration. I don't know why I thought this was such a big deal, but I was really happy about it. And then next day, I now have another 3/10 I have to cut. It was It was an interesting experience. I couldn't believe the time, by the way. I had to rewatch that like 10 times after it happened. I would be one of the people measuring the pool, measuring the speed of wind.
Oh, that was crazy. I mean, I've been not too far away from the time. Like I've been under 25 Sierra a few times, but I think I've done 24.6 twice, and so it's actually, that's not that much far away.
No, undoubtedly. This was not an accident. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But just it was.
I understand, but I mean,
unbelievable.
I thought it was something wrong with the pool until I did 24.6. Also, like not long after. So it was not like a one-time thing to be that far under 25 seconds. So it was good to do it again.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, how old were you when you started swimming?
I started swimming when I was around 9, 10 years old, something like that. And I actually went straight into a group that was competing. So I didn't really start like learning in a swimming school. I went straight into a competition group.
Oh, wow. By the way, 9 years you said? That's quite
Yeah.
That's quite late comparing it to some of the other swimmers.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't learn how to swim until I was 7 or something. That was very late.
Okay, thank you.
I was kind of scared of the water, and it was a coincidence that I started swimming almost, because we moved to another town in Stockholm, and then I changed school and I started in the same class with a girl that was swimming, and we became friends. And then I joined her to the pool because I wasn't doing any other sports, and I wasn't even planning to do another sport because I wasn't interested in sports. So I was like, oh, sure, I just want to hang out with my friend, and she was swimming after school. So I just joined her, and then the coach there was like, oh, you don't want to try yourself? And I'm like, oh, sure, I can join, you know. So, and then that's how I came into swimming.
That coach is a good recruiter. We need him on board
Yeah.
for the ISL.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, did you have a childhood idol? And if you had, who was it?
We have a lot of big stars here in Sweden. Like Lars Wilander is a good friend of mine. Also, he won the Olympic gold in 2000 in Sydney in the 100 butterfly, and also Therese Alsamar.
What a legend.
And yeah, so yeah, I was looking up to them a lot.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
And still.
Yeah. When did Therese Alsamar stop swimming? It was quite recently, only like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, she officially stopped swimming 2016.
Talk about a long career.
Yeah, she's still training a lot, but I think it's hard if you've been training a lot in your career. You can't just stop. Like, you need to continue working out and stay in shape. And I think it's when you start to relax too much and not work out, that's when you start to get pain everywhere. So I think I'm gonna be the same. Like, when I'm not competing anymore, I'm probably gonna still train quite a lot, for sure.
Yeah, it's not putting a hard stop to swimming, especially when you've been doing it for 20 plus years. It's not good for both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
But talking about that, Sarah, my next question is kind of related. What is your favorite sport to do and your favorite sport to spectate outside of swimming?
I do like fencing. It's quite funny. My boyfriend is fencing coach, and he's been fencing a lot himself. It's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it a lot. And also climbing is amazing. I'm terrible at both of these sports, but I really enjoy doing those sports. Otherwise, sports that I love to watch is track and field and skiing, and winter sports is quite funny to watch during the winter.
Any specific events in track and field you like the most?
No, it depends. Of course, it's more fun to watch the events where we have very successful Swedish athletes. For example, we have Duplantis, pole vaulter. He broke the world record last year. So it's more, obviously it's much more fun to watch when you follow like the people from your nation. But sometimes I watch other events too, just because I think it's similar to swimming somehow, because it's very measurable. It's easy to compare the competitors with each other, which makes it interesting to watch and easy also.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. And yeah, climbing is also a huge sport. I fell in love with climbing after I was done swimming. So different from swimming. It's so cool to sort of have a track And then the quality of your moving through the track doesn't matter as much in time. You can spend as much time as you want, as long as you know how to recover. It's really cool in this aspect. Climbing is a very interesting sport.
It's a mental challenge, and also a really, really good way for me to practice my patience. Because sometimes I was working on a problem that I couldn't solve. I was like, it made me furious. I was like, I got so angry when I couldn't solve this climbing problem. And I couldn't make it up on the wall. But then you try, and when you finally succeed, it's like very satisfying when you finally solve the problem. So it's I really enjoy it. I haven't done it for a really long time now, but I'm probably not going to do it for a while. Obviously.
Do you remember which level system you used when you climbed? Like, what was it, the V1, V2, V3, or was it by color?
It was by color, but also like 5A, B, C, or 5 or 6A, 6B, 6C, etc.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, last question for the Blitz. What is your favorite team logo and team uniform, counting out Energy Standard?
That's a good question. I really like the Iron teams, but it's a hard one. I don't know. I like green. Tokyo's team kit was amazing, and the color, the team logo, I like it.
Tokyo is by far the most popular vote.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you, Sarah. And before we part ways, any words you want to say to your personal fans and to the fans of Energy Standard?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support, especially now when I was this unlucky to fall and injure my elbow. It's a big challenge for me, but it's it's helping a lot with all the support I got on social media. A lot of people is contacting me and wishing me good luck with my rehab and everything. So I appreciate it a lot, and it gives me a lot of strength to fight now.
Thank you, Sarah. And from our side, we wish you the speediest of recovery, and we're sure you're going to be game when Olympics roll around and the ISL rolls around. And thank you so much for joining us for the podcast. It was truly special chatting with you. I hope we will organize another podcast sometime soon, because I feel like there's more topics we can cover. But
definitely, yeah.
With that being said, this was Sarah Sjostrom for you guys. And our next podcast with athletes will happen this Friday. Please tune in. It will be an individual athlete podcast. And on Sunday, we will have Rivals podcast. Tune in for that. And thank you so much for watching.